Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Very excited to have my next guest on the show, Neil Schoepp. He is a 24-year New York City firefighter, retired. He and a cop. He was a cop. He just told me. Told me he was a cop before he became a firefighter, which is amazing. He's a mindset strategist for blue collar men who are done waiting and ready to execute. Neil, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey Pat, how are you?
I am doing
Great to be
great.
here.
Oh man, we had a
Yeah.
pretty cool talk before we started, but I got to ask you, brother. So you've done a lot, man. You've given you served 10 years with NYPD, then you rolled over to the fire department, FDNY. What made you get into service, brother? What made you? Did you always have that service bug?
I always had the service bug. It's funny because I used to race the fire truck. So New York City, a little trivia fact about New York City: there's 10 volunteer fire companies within the confines of New York City. One of those fire companies was 3 blocks from my house when I was growing up, and every time the air raid siren would go off, I knew the fire truck was responding.
Uh-huh.
And I would race out of my house and run down to the corner just to wave to the guys.
That's
So it
awesome.
was the seed. Yeah, the seed was planted. I tell a story about how I was the kid running to the corner to wave at the fire truck, and then I hit 18. I become a volunteer in that firehouse, and now I'm the guy on the back step waving to the little kids. Like
That's it's
talk,
amazing.
talk about generation, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the seed was always planted, and I ended up just taking the test for NYPD, and I passed the test, and I went down, and they said you were too young because I took the test when I was 16.
Yeah.
They're like, you're too young. We're gonna defer you, and defer just means they're just gonna put me at the end of the list, and then they just keep calling you. And eventually, I got to the appropriate age, and they hired me. And went through the process. They hired me. Here I am.
Oh, now, is it common, Neil, to do what you did? I mean, you started out with NYPD and then you went over to FDNY. I mean, is that common or is that?
It happens a lot in the city.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
it does.
I would
Okay.
say I would say it's common in the city. It, it,
Damn.
it happens a lot because you get to the police department, and I'm sure a lot of your guys can resonate with this. I absolutely love being on the street. I can roll around with a perp. I can talk to these guys. Like, there's just a code that goes on the street. And then you come back to the station house, and the boss is like, so how many summonses did you write? Or what were you doing? Like, you were a block off post. What were you doing there? Or you got out of the car without your hat on. And it would just drive me crazy. So I eventually got to the point where I was like, it's crazy to say, but I can't deal with the bosses. I can deal with, like, just put me on the street and leave me alone. Like, just,
Exactly. That's, I
so,
think that's
so that,
everywhere.
yeah. So that kind of led to it. And then, but in the city, that happens a lot because in the city, you can go to the fire department, you still follow the same enrollment procedures, the same application process, but like your time carries, so I don't lose my seniority or anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's cool.
you go
I
to the fire department.
I remember watching a show with Dennis Leary called Rescue
Yeah.
Me. Did you ever see that show?
I worked in the I worked in one of the firehouses that was filmed in the
What
in
was
the
is that an accurate? Because I know it was kind of I mean, it was kind of like if it talked about for the people who don't know, I think it's a great series. It's pretty serious, a lot of comedy, but it talks about the firefighters
yeah.
during 9/11. I mean, is that an accurate description
So
or
I
after
think for
9/11?
I think for Hollywood they did a decent job,
Yeah,
right? Like I mean, the good thing about Dennis is he has connections to Boston also,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So he really gets it, and
yeah,
I think it was fairly accurate. I mean, Hollywood can only do so much,
yeah. But
but yeah,
I always thought it was a good show, because I think it, and of course I was never a firefighter, but it just, and I was a first responder like you, brother, but it
yeah,
shows the dark side of first responder work, the mental anguish, the
hmm
addiction. If people, a lot of people, have alcohol addictions and stuff like that. So anyway, I don't know why that came into my mind, but I was just like, I was just thinking of that show. But before we got started, Neil, we were talking about a subject that's near and dear to me. It sounds like it's near and dear to you, and that's mindset.
yeah,
I
big
want I
time.
want to hear your take on mindset and why it is central to every listener's life and why you need to develop and cultivate that.
I think So mindset is the one domino that knocks all the other dominoes down. So you're
Yeah.
facing certain things in life. If you tweak your mindset, all the other puzzle pieces will fall into place. Because mindset essentially is just, I define mindset as your default thought process.
Now, when
So
you
where do
say
you
tweak,
go to?
tweak, what do you mean by that, brother?
Tweak. So just how you approach certain things, right? So if I just tweak, I can't becomes I can. I'm not becomes I am. You just tweak little things, the language that you're using, the
Hmm.
concepts that you can learn. You just change tiny little things. It's not mindset's not this big thing that you got to change and take out a jackhammer and jack. It's more like a bucket of sand. It's easy in concept and theory. It's hard in practicality, but that hard work pays huge dividends.
Yeah. And I like what you said about tweaking a couple words. Like instead of like self-affirmations, instead of saying, I will be a success, tweaking it to I am a success.
Yes.
Instead of, the power behind that is
Mm-hmm.
I will is okay down the road. I am obviously is right now. So
Yes.
that's what I think you mean for the listeners out there.
So little tweaks exactly like that. Like just yeah.
So let's talk about hesitation. Why do you think, Neil, you know, people hesitate so much about doing anything? Because a lot of people fucking talk. They're like, okay, I'm going to change this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go on that diet. I'm going to write that book, whatever. And then they hesitate. They procrastinate. Why don't they just follow through with that? Gain that momentum.
Comfortability. That it boils down to that right there. What happens is
So how do you
you
kill that?
have
How do you kill that hesitation?
you sneak. I call it sneaking one past the goalie. The goalie being your subconscious, right? When you say you want to write that book, when you say you want to lose those pounds, when you want to start exercising, just whatever it is, your subconscious immediately throws up a whole bunch of red flags. These things are going off like flag guns because it's uncertainty.
Hmm.
It's the unknown. I don't know what this looks like. I've exercised before. That led to me being tired. It led to muscle aches. It led to I sprained my ankle once because I stepped on a rock. Like it could be whatever. But those are all the red flags that are going up. And how we sneak one past the goalie is we make it so stupid easy that the subconscious doesn't even realize we're doing it.
Yeah.
So if I want to start an exercise regime, I may start with literally one push up. That's it. I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do when I roll out of bed is I drop down and I do one push up. That's it.
Yeah.
If that becomes too much, I sit at the edge of the bed and I say, all right, I'm going to do one push up. And I don't even actually do it. I just say, I'm going to do a push up.
Hmm.
And then I go and because taking that taking that beat, right? People are going to say, yeah, but if I say I'm going to do a push up and then I don't do it, I'm training myself not to do it. No, because you're taking that, you're giving yourself that space, that 5 seconds when I first get out of bed is reserved for push ups.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's executing. That's why you're an execution
Yes.
strategist. You have to
Yeah.
execute. You have to quit procrastinating. Because I tell people, brother, everything you want, no matter how outlandish your dreams are, you can have them, but you have to work on it. You have to execute. Nothing's going to
Yes.
fucking fall in your lap.
Yes. And I think that brings up an interesting point is like manifestation. A lot of times it's explained where all I have to do is think about it and then it happens. And that's not the case.
No.
You have to think about it, but you have to take that action. And what the thinking about it does is it's activating your RAS, your reticular activating system, so that you can see things out there. And then when that opportunity comes floating by, it doesn't just pass you because you activated your RAS and you're like, oh, let me reach out and grab that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's where the take it action part comes in.
Yeah. And and I'm big what you said about the reticular activating system, and for the listener out there, I give you an example of what Neil means with that. And I'm not putting your words in your mouth, brother, but this is
No.
the way I think a RAS is or RAS is you go out and buy a red car,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden you start seeing fucking red cars everywhere. Or you're in a crowd and you hear your name when it's so noisy. That's your RAS. Getting back to the car has always been there, but now all the red cars have always been there, but now you're focused in on that. Now you're seeing it. Am I correct in my
Yeah, yeah,
definition,
no,
brother?
I have a great red car story. It's not a red car, but it's the same premise, right? Newly appointed police officer. I had probably 2 years on the job at the time. We get a description of a male wearing an orange hoodie. Just did a robbery. Now you're sitting there and you're saying, "I got this guy." Like, how many orange hoodies are roaming around, right? We stopped no less than a dozen individuals that had an orange top on, whether that was a hoodie, a t-shirt, a jacket. None of them were the individual. And I'm like,
You just start
I've
seeing
never
them
seen.
everywhere
We started seeing
because you're
because
focused in on it.
literally you're focused on everybody else. You're just scanning over and you're focused in on that orange
Yeah.
hoodie. And that was the first time I experienced RAS, my RAS. I didn't know it was the reticular activating system back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
But that was the first time, and I'm like, where did all these orange hoodies come from?
Yeah. I
And
mean, but you're so right when, it's like with the mindset, getting back to the mindset, it's like waking up in the morning. The first thing I do in the morning, brother, is I say is matter if it sounds corny I don't give a shit what people think, you know, but
it
I
works.
say,
It works.
I say, look, it's going to be a great day. The first thing I say in the morning,
Yeah.
because what I'm doing is I'm trying to train my mind right from when I open up my eyes. Instead of grabbing my phone and starting to stress out about shit and emails and all kinds of stuff, I say to myself and I pray and then I say it's going to be a great day. That way, my mind is going to start looking as the day progresses, especially in the early part of the day, for reasons that make it a good day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds very, and it is that easy,
Yeah,
but it
but it's
sounds
hard
like
too. It's
that's,
you got to
yeah, you have
practice.
to, right. You have to do it. And people will counter that and say, yeah, but what happens when you wake up and you say, it's going to be a great day? And the first thing that happens when you walk outside is you have a flat tire. Well, it's a great day because I have a spare. It's a great day because I have a jack. It's a great day because I have AAA.
Exactly, man. I
Right?
mean, it's
Like,
how you look at it.
like how many people? It's a great day because I have a car. I don't have to walk to the bus or
Yeah.
to the subway. It's a great day because I'm going to work. Like,
Yeah, I mean it's there's so and it gets back to it gets back to I think where you're going with I'm assuming even though I hate to assume is gratitude. It's
well,
gratitude
yeah,
a
like
gratitude practice. It's all part of the mindset stuff.
that's a big part of it. A big part of it. Like I sit down and I list out like I wrote a gratitude journal. Like I published a gratitude journal, and in that journal you're doing 3 wins, three uh, thoughts of gratification, right? 3 things you're grateful for. You're doing your I am statement, your commitment, what you're committed to. And then at the end of the night, you're like, all right, well, what were lessons learned? What did I learn today? And how am I grading this day? How was the day overall? And it's just the things that you pay attention to, the things that you measure improve.
Yeah.
And if I'm always looking at the wins I had for today, and everybody here has a win, even if that win is I woke up in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, you're alive.
Yeah,
You got another
there's,
day.
yeah,
And if you can change, you probably heard this stat before, Neil, is like we I think the average scientists tell us, neuroscientists, we have about 70, 80,000 thoughts a day.
yep.
And so what would happen if we changed 10% of those thoughts? Fuck, 5%.
you, you're
I mean, you
talking
can
my language.
radically change your life. The reality is,
Yes,
right now, we're thinking about the same shit we were thinking about yesterday.
yes.
The vast
So
majority of thoughts.
So that's 60,000 thoughts, roughly, right?
Yeah,
60,000 thoughts a day. 80% are negative, 95% are repetitive.
yeah. And why do we stay in this, brother? You say, and I want to talk about this. Most men are going to die, and this probably goes for women too, but most people are going to die on autopilot. What do you mean
Yeah.
by that?
Well, we live on autopilot.
Yeah.
There's a Harvard study that says 50% of our waking day is lived in autopilot. And if you don't believe me, I want you to think about the last time you were on the highway, you passed three exits and you don't even realize passing the three exits. Or
I've done
when,
that.
when everybody's done it because
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
in autopilot. How about when there's a blackout? When there's a blackout, you've been in a blackout before. You ever
yeah.
walk into a room, turn the light switch on? You ever get mad because the light didn't come on and you're sitting there tick, 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 tick?
Yeah,
It's
you're right. You're
autopilot.
autopilot. You're right.
We're in autopilot way more than we know, way more than we realize.
Yeah. You're
And
right. You take the same route to work every day. It's fucking, you don't even think about it.
breaking out of that autopilot is one of the first steps. See, like autopilot is a double-edged sword. Like we're talking about autopilot as the negative right now. But can you imagine if you used the power of autopilot on the positive side of that, when you use it for your benefit,
Hmm.
right? So what am I talking about? I want to be a little bit more healthy. So instead of having a bowl of M&Ms on the counter, I have a bowl of goji berries. So that when I'm automatically, without even thinking about it, I walk past that bowl and I'm picking them up. I'm picking up something that's good for me, as opposed to M&Ms,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
or candy or something.
Yeah.
And you excuse me, you can use autopilot. Like you can train your mind. Autopilot is just our mind's really lazy. Our mind's meant for one thing. It's meant for survival. So it's really lazy. It doesn't want to like do new things.
Hmm.
So it forms patterns, it finds patterns and it forms patterns, and you do things over and over and over in a loop so that it can take its bandwidth and use it somewhere else. We're hit with, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's a huge contrast. So we're hit with like 1 million bytes of information per second, but we can only process like
Yeah.
120 bytes per second. So what's happening to all those other bytes? Those bytes are being processed automatically.
Wow.
Driving a car is the perfect example. Putting your pants on is another great example. We all either put our right leg in first or our left leg in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do the same leg day after day after day. We tie the same, either our right shoe first or our left shoe first, but we tie it the
Yeah.
same shoe every day. For every time we put our shoes on, we tie the same shoe first.
So what
That's
would
autopilot.
happen? What would happen? Because I was just thinking about, you got me thinking. So I put my, yeah, you're right. I put my leg in first and then my right shoe on first. What would happen if I would train my mind to do left first. So I'm
Yeah.
building that new pathway. I'm
Yes.
building in my brain that neural pathway.
Hmm.
And I'm building, okay, I'm going to try something different. I'm breaking out of that comfort zone,
Yeah.
right?
Another great activity to do that. You want to build brain cells? Start brushing your teeth with the opposite hand.
Oh, yeah, wow. What do you mean?
Like
Like,
literally, when you're brushing your teeth, I'm a righty, so I use my right, and that like it's like a Gatling gun, right? You can do it without problem. You don't even think about it. It's all automaticity again.
yeah.
Now take that toothbrush, put it in your left hand.
Oh, okay.
Now
Put it in your
brush your
left hand.
teeth, and you're like, you feel like you're three again. Like you,
Well,
like what's
it
going
makes
on?
me think, brother. You were a cop for a long time. I was a cop for a long time. It makes me we bow on the range and then we do offhand shooting.
Yes.
Like I'm a righty, like you. So I'd be
Hmm.
like, oh fuck, here we go with the left hand drills. So
Yeah.
now, yeah, I have to do something different. I have to
That's
consciously. I mean,
yeah.
because it's out of my comfort zone.
And that's something that a lot of your listeners are police officers. So just go through that visualization,
Yeah,
right? Like I can draw with my right hand and punch out, and I can draw a rack like punch like I'm on target in less than a second. If I try doing that lefty, it'd be like a turtle on his shell, like flopping around.
well, it for anybody out there who's ever had an injury or something.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I messed up my knee and I had to do things. Had to because it's just I was favoring my left knee so much, and it's weird because I think and it's all military related injuries, but it's my right knee is much stronger than my left. But it's like I had to, or I'm sorry, my left is much stronger than my right, and so I had to. Now that my left was uh, fucked up, now I had to put more focus on my
Yes,
right. You know what I mean? So I was breaking out of that comfort zone.
yes. And when you do things like that, when you start try like as an activity, just write with your left hand, right? Do things with the opposite hand, not your left hand, but the opposite of your dominant, and you start building neural pathways.
Yeah,
Like you could
that's
build a whole bunch of neural pathways.
you talk about. I think this will resonate with a lot of people, brother. Is overthinking.
Big
Why?
time.
Why do we? I'm very analytical. I don't know about
Mhm.
you.
Yes.
And most first responders are, okay, if this doesn't happen, or if this happens, I'm gonna do this, this, this.
Yep.
Why do we get stuck in that? And what are some things that we can break out of the overthinking trap?
So how do we break out of it? We break out of it by literally dumbing things down, right? We overthink because of that comfortability. And what's crazy about like what really frustrated me when I was first starting out in this is when I was on the streets, either as a cop or a fireman, if I hesitated, I died,
Hmm.
right? Like that's the fact of life. So when I was at work, I didn't hesitate. I executed flawlessly all the time on the money. And then I'd come home and I would overthink buying this mouse.
Why
Like,
is it
what
like
mouse
that?
is going to be the best? Like, what? So, because,
At
because,
work, it's different because we are so trained, and it's like
see,
autopilot. We were talking about. Okay, we know what to do, but on our
but
private lives, it's fucked up.
because we don't think about it. When
Yeah.
we're at work, we're constantly running scenarios.
Mhm.
Not even when we're at work, but now we're off duty and we're in the supermarket and we're like, if that guy has a gun, or if that guy does this,
True.
or if
Yeah.
that car goes there, I'm doing this. The wife's going over there, the kids are going over there, and I'm grabbing that piece of cover over there.
Yeah.
Like there's cover, there's cover, there's cover. I got concealment over there, right? We're running those mental exercises constantly, but we're not doing that in like the private life,
Yeah.
right? Like a mouse is just a mouse. There's no repercussions to the mouse buying a mouse. So I can overthink it. I can overanalyze it. There's plenty of time. We allow the fear to come in. Do you realize that fear and excitement are the same thing? Like our body has the same reaction to fear and
Hmm.
excitement. The only difference between the two is the stories we start telling ourselves.
Yeah. Good
So
point.
even though we are in a life-threatening scenario when we're at work, we've already thought all of that stuff out, and we've
Yeah.
already accepted the fact of this is what we do. When we're in our private lives, we have a loss aversion. At least that's what it was for me. I had
Yeah.
loss aversion. I didn't want to make the wrong decision. I didn't know anything about the mouse, right? I knew that if that guy had a gun, that's the best piece of cover,
Hmm.
right? Like I knew that. But if I didn't know that, if I had to start analyzing every piece of cover, then I would be stuck in overthinking in that
Yeah.
moment.
Absolutely.
But I've already previously analyzed what cover is,
Yeah.
right? What where cover is in a car. Like where do I want to be in a car? I don't want to
Yeah.
be behind the door, right? I want to be behind the tire, the
Yeah.
engine light,
Cover concealment. Yeah.
right? I want to
Yeah.
get like I can use the curb if I really like if I'm in the middle of nowhere, I can use the curb and that'll give me some kind of it's more concealment than it is cover,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But like fire hydrant mailboxes in the city, mailboxes with the exception of the 6 inches below the mailbox, but the mailbox you
Yeah.
weren't there wasn't anything going through those things.
Do you think, Neil, that this is the reason why, especially with first responders, we're so like go back to the training and the autopilot, we just react. Excuse me. Do you think this is the reason why when so many people, first responders leave whatever they're doing in the first responder field, law enforcement, fire, whatever, they struggle? to find a
Yes.
path forward. Because I know I did, initially it's like I lost my identity. I mean, I'm not a cop anymore. I was a cop for a long time, but and now I'm fucking lost.
I'm really glad you brought that up. Uh, I went through the same thing. I retired back in 2015. And everybody said, like, well, what are you going to do moving forward? And, like, I don't know. Like, because I really considered my identity was I'm a fireman.
Yeah,
I'm a cop. Like, I don't know what else I have to offer people.
yeah.
And just going through a whole bunch of journaling exercises and talking to coaches and mentees and just doing that work, what I realized was I wasn't a fireman. I was somebody that helped individuals.
Yeah.
And once I took on that identity, which is the identity of a cop and a fireman, it's what I've done my entire life since I was 18 years old and I went into the volleys and I became a volley and EMT, then a cop, a fireman. I went into real estate and I literally buy rundown places and rehab them so that people have a good place to
Which is
live in.
cool, which is a great thing that you're doing.
And when I sat down and I looked at all of that, I realized that my identity wasn't a cop or a fireman. My identity was I help people in their time of need.
And I
And
liked, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry,
oh
bud.
no, and I think that military personnel, I think that cops, firemen, EMS, corrections, like I think they all have that quality. There's an underlying identity that goes along with the profession. You're doing the profession, that's the title, that the label that it's given, right? The label that was given to me was fireman, the label that was given to you was police officer. But underneath that, we're the same thing. And I can prove that because what are you doing? What are you doing now, Pat?
I work in,
Right?
I'm helping people. I work in behavioral health, which is
So,
amazing.
so that I believe is one of the true identities to the first responder. Now, it doesn't mean that every first responder has that same identity, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely a trait of first responders.
But I love what you said. I love how you put that wording to it because again, it's so simple, but yet it's probably for the listener who's
Yes.
maybe thinking about this, it might be weird to adopt this, but he's very right. Neil, you're exactly spot on because yeah, you're a cop, you're a fireman, you're a correctional officer, you're helping people. Different nuances, obviously, but you're
Yep.
helping people.
Yes.
Dispatchers. So when you transition out, even if you're doing something that's not on the field and you're helping people, you're helping people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're giving back like you're
Yes.
doing. But it's tough to because like you said, the identity thing. But I think this is the reason why people like especially people coming out of the field, first responder field, retiring, whatever, need to align with people like you because you've been there, done that, and you can kind of guide them and help them. You
That
know,
was, yeah, that was a probably, it was at least a 3 year period. So I just described like what I went through, right? Like the journaling exercises, talking to mentors, talking to coaches, like going out there, talking to different people. That was a 3 year process. We discussed it in 30 seconds, but it was a 3 year process. It's not something that just like all of a
no,
sudden
no,
happened.
but you executed on it. You knew you
Yes,
needed to
and
have to do something.
now I'm here. Like I'm hoping that I could speed that process up because just by us having this conversation and somebody listening to us, that can plant the seed in their mind of, oh, I can piece this over here. My identity isn't, because we're never gonna lose that. Like I'm gone 10 years, Pat.
Yeah, yeah.
I still miss it to this day.
Well, I do
I mean,
too.
I would go back to the firehouse tomorrow. Like right now, if my phone rang right now and they were I would end the interview and I would go back to the firehouse. Like I miss it. I wasn't expecting that. But we open a new chapter. Like we can't tie ourselves so much to that because then we again it goes back to the story that we're telling ourselves,
Yeah,
right? The choice that we're making. We have to move forward. We have to write that new chapter.
yeah.
And my new chapter is this. Like I'm out there on the front lines with the frontliners, helping them stop with their hesitation so that they can live the life they want. It's a choice
Yeah.
that we make.
Well, and the thing with first responders, I see this a lot with what I do, Neil, and is that first responders have a tendency, not all of them, have a tendency to get pigeonholed into this belief that, well, shit, I was only a cop, I'm only a firefighter, I don't know how to do anything else, and that is bullshit. Yeah, I was like that too. It is a load of crap. Let's go through the list of shit that you do that most people can't do, and let's go through you're a leader, analytical skills, teamwork skills, communication skills. So everything you're doing out there for the listener, you could translate into a successful career after the first responder career, like Neil's doing. It's just the mindset, like we've been talking about, and get surrounding yourself with good people like you.
Proximity in the back, you'll see it on the wall. Proximity's power. I think proximity's the unfair advantage, Pat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and you show me who your friends are, and that's who you're gonna be. It's like a little kid. If you have kids, when my kids were small, or I say you don't hang out with those other kids. Why? Because they're dirtbags. You're gonna turn into a dirtbag. It doesn't change when we're adults. Meaning, if you are hanging around with negative people all the time,
yeah,
that's what you're gonna be. So you want to hang around with people who are going places, who are movers and shakers. That's how you're gonna grow.
yep. If you say to somebody, I'm thinking about buying a duplex and renting it out. Does your friend say to you, "Oh, what do you want to get involved? The toilets are tenants for, right? Like, what do you want to get involved? You're going to be a slumlord?" I can't tell you how many, like, when I first started out in real estate, even now, I run across people and I tell them that I'm in real estate, and they're like, "What are you, a slumlord?" I'm like, yeah, I'm a slumlord.
Yeah, I'm slow
Like,
lording it all the way to the bank.
like it's those comments that it used to like get under my skin.
Well, it fuels you probably now.
And now it just passes right through. It's like in one ear, out the other. Just like, yeah, yeah.
Well, and this is one thing I learned, Neil. Um, the more successful you get, the more see people don't ignore or people ignore people that are just kind of floating along.
Yes.
People start criticizing people when they start gaining ground and when they
Hmm.
start doing things and they start transforming not only their life but other people's. And that's when people start criticizing. So I take criticism, and there's different forms, but if people are giving me shit about doing something that I know I'm giving to people, I'm on the right path.
I have arrived.
I have arrived. Yeah, and you've arrived.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
No, but that's exactly it. When people start really busting your balls, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm starting to piss people off. I'm starting to arrive. I'm starting to get there. I'm starting to hit that success that I've been looking for because they're reacting like that because you're starting to show them that they were wrong.
and that
You're
you are
starting to
starting to
deal.
show them that something they're unwilling to do.
Yes, you're starting to show them that it actually can be done and that they don't want to do. That's actually what's happening inside them. They want it, but they're not willing to do it. You did it, and now they're like, "Well, I got to drag him back." You ever
Yeah.
hear the crabs, the crabs in a pail story? I
Oh,
grew up in
I did.
I,
But say it again. Say it again.
I grew up in Jamaica Bay, and we would actually crab off the dock. Like I lived on the physical water, and we would crab off the dock, and we'd pull these crabs up, and we'd stick them in the bucket, and every once in a while, a crab would try and like climb out of the bucket, and another crab would reach up and pull him down
Yeah.
back into the bucket. So that's exactly what is happening in your life. Like people are pulling you down because they don't want to see you advance. Not because they don't want you to be successful, but because if you are successful, if you make it, you're actually subliminally, you're telling them you're not good enough to make it. You're
Yeah.
lazy. You're not taking your shot. Instead of saying, "Yo, Pat, like I I see you started a podcast. I always wanted to do that. Like, what's that all about? How can I start doing it? How
Yeah.
did you do it? Will you show me?"
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier just to criticize.
Yeah. Well, but it's so important to, especially with first responders, because we're surrounded. You know this. We're surrounded
By negative.
by negativity all the time. You know, the job and all kinds of other stuff. That's why it's so important that you know, even when you're still on the job, surround yourself with people who kind of balance that out. So people who are
Yes.
positive and uplifting you instead of all the negative. You know, and definitely when you leave the job like you did, Neil, and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to do this to help people. But you imagine you surrounded yourself with people like you mentioned, getting,
Can,
you know, mentors and coaches and stuff like that. That's what you need to do to level up.
can I give you a visual?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I'm for the guys on YouTube, you see me drinking a glass of water. It's nice and clear, right? So I want you guys to picture a clear glass of water. Now I want you to picture me taking a teaspoon of iced tea mix and putting in that glass of water and mixing it up, right? Now we got a cloudy brown glass of water. Now I take a big pitcher of water and I just keep pouring it into that iced tea. And eventually that iced tea starts fading and fading and fading. And eventually we get back to a clear glass of water. That's the mindset process. We start off with a clear mind. We get bombarded with all of this negativity, whether it's from the job, from society, wherever it comes from. How do we combat that? Because it's going to happen. The news, it's going to happen. You can't get rid of it. So instead of battling to get rid of it, take it in, but then get that big picture, which is exactly what Pat was talking about, right? The podcast, the books, the proximity to other individuals. And you just have to make that glass of iced tea into a glass of water again and clear your mind.
I love it. I love it. Neil, if people want to reach out to you, brother, how can they find you? You're amazing.
Neil at neilschoepp.com. That's my email. Shoot me an email. Be happy to help you out. Again, Pat said 24 years on the front lines. I want to help frontliners. Uh, Instagram, Neil Schoepp is probably the second best place. And just start the conversation. Send me a message.
Yeah,
Like it's about proximity. It's about the wall behind me is in a triangle shape.
I love it.
That's to symbolize steps up the mountain.
Yeah,
So I'm higher up on the mountain. It's my responsibility to pull people up because people have pulled me up, and there's still people pulling me up the mountain.
yeah.
So it's just pay it forward.
Never ends. Never ends, brother. It's
It never ends.
constant
It's the cycle.
evolution.
Yes. Constant way to weave that in. Yeah.
Brother, I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
It was
And
a lot
you're
of
what
fun, Pat.
I'd love to have you back on, brother. You're great. I love you. I
I'm
love the
I'm
way you
here to
talk.
serve.
All right, brother. Everything we talked about, and Neil, you've been an amazing guest. It's going to be in the show notes for the listener. Neil, God bless, brother. I look forward to having you back on down the road.
Absolutely, Pat. Great to be here.
All
Take
right,
care,
thanks,
guys.
brother. Bye bye.